Hey everyone, welcome. This is Karan Estee with Common Bond Yoga, and today we will be doing a practice that is going to incorporate some core work, some standing balancing, a little bit of arm balancing, and we'll finish up with some nice, juicy stretches, twists, inversions in the end. So grab a block and let's go. Okay, we're going to get started on our backs. So I want you to, when you get onto your back, I'd like for you to bend your knees and place your knees together and bring your heels apart and just let the knees kind of rest on one another. And place both hands on your belly, or you can also place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. And then close your eyes. Make sure that the back of your neck is long. So this is where I want you to start. And it does help with your knees bent to maintain a neutral spine a little bit better. So what you want to feel as you're laying here is that your low back is slightly lifted away from the floor. It's not too much lifted, and it's also not pressed flat into the mat. And then the other curve I want you to think about is the curve of the neck, because a lot of us tend to have our chins kind of poking forward a lot. We're going to lift the head, tuck the chin, and just lay the head down. And then begin to slow down your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose. I want your focus to be simply on filling your lungs up and emptying your lungs out. So really slow the breath down. And with each breath that you're taking in and letting out, try to make it a little more powerful, a little more intentional. Feel your belly rise and fall. Feel your chest lift. Feel the back of your body expand and broaden on the mat. As you exhale, start to really feel that engagement of your core muscles. So on that exhale side of the breath, I want you to start hugging your muscles in a little bit more towards your bones. So the muscles surrounding closest to the hips, into the spine, into the shoulders. Feeling that action of the muscles hugging in to help you create the stability that you need. Take a couple more deep breaths. And just remember that through your practice to always come back to the breath, whether you get stressed out or whether you just notice that your mind is wandering. And now grab your block and place it between your inner thighs. And if you don't have a block, that's fine. You can roll up a mat or roll up a towel, place a towel in between. Anything that helps you to keep so that your thighs are in hip distance apart, feet are hip distance apart, and you're able to squeeze, but not squeeze tight. Just kind of holding on to that block. This is going to help us to stabilize our hips as we move a little bit. So stretch your arms over your head. Take a full breath into your lungs, and then as you exhale, pull your navel in towards your spine. Now I'm going to start to slowly roll my spine up off the mat, squeezing the block, lift the hips up to the sky. Feel that nice opening through the back side or the front side of the body and the engagement in the back side. And then lift your heels and bring your hips all the way back down to the bottom. Take a full breath in. Exhale. Navel to spine, lift your hips up and try to keep that neutral spine as you lift up this time. Take an inhale, lift the heels, and with a neutral spine, come all the way back down. Do that one more time. Lower the heels, inhale. Exhale. Engage your core, push into your heels, lift your hips. Inhale and exhale, lower the hips back down. And now bring your block out from between your inner thighs. We'll do a little bit of core work here. So pick up your feet and stack your knees over your hips. Reach your arms up towards the sky. And on your inhale, lower your left leg towards the mat and your right arm over your head. And then come back up. Good. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale. Few more rounds. Now, while you're doing this, again, coordinate it with your breath and make sure what we're attempting to do is move the arm and the leg without letting the spine or the hips move. So if you're low back, if you feel like it's really lifting up away from the floor quite a bit, then don't lower your leg quite as far and really work on hugging the navel in towards the spine. Now, just for fun, let's lower both legs and reach both arms overhead. Maybe shake a little bit. And then hug your knees up into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Now, bring your feet back down to the mat. We're going to come back up into a bridge pose, this time without the block. But imagine that it's still there. So engage the inner thigh muscles. Feel your outer hip muscles engage as well. Bring your arms next to you in robot arms. Press down through the backs of the arms and the shoulders and start to lift your hips up. So we come into this bridge pose. Now scoot your shoulders underneath you more and place your hands so that you can feel your hips moving. And I want to do a little bit of marching in our bridge. So transfer your weight over into that right foot and lift your left foot up. And bring it down and lift your right foot up. And so with your hands on your hips, what I want you to feel is that your hips are steady. And maybe you don't lift your leg up quite as far. Or maybe you just lift the heel is also another option if you're working with a lot of instability or injuries. Now, keep your right leg up. The next time your right leg is up, leave it up in the air. Bring your arms down now alongside of you. We're going to do a little bit of lowering and lifting of the hips with that leg still up. So on the inhale, lower your hips down. And as you exhale, push into your left heel and push your right heel up to the sky. You should feel your hamstring and your glute fire on that left side. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, push. Inhale. Keep the back of that neck long. Exhale, push. One more time like that. Lower and lift. Now hold here. Cross your right knee over your left knee. Keep your legs crossed. Bring your hips down. Now pick up that left foot and stack your knees over your hips. We're going to come into a supine eagle pose. So cross the arms. Place the hands together, or you can bring your hands to your shoulders. That's fine as well. Now, if you've got your palms together, glue your thumb to your forehead. That's going to help to keep the neck supported. So take an inhale, and then as you exhale, start to curl your spine up off the mat and see if you can even press your elbow into your thigh. And on your inhale, lower. And try to keep that neutral spine. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. And hold this last time. Hold. Uncross just your arms. Reach for your toes. Rock yourself up into a boat pose. Woo! Hold here. Breathe. Maybe straighten the legs. And then with control, lower yourself down onto your back again. And now we have to even ourselves out and do another round on the other side. So bring your arms beside you. Press your shoulders back. Pull the navel in. Imagine that block there. Pick your hips up. Feel your hips. And this time, let's start with the right foot. We'll do a little bit of marching. And left foot, checking for stability in the hips and in the spine. And now keep that left leg up this time. You can bring your arms down. Inhale, lower the hips. Exhale, lift the hips. Push up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I think we did 4 on the other side, so I'll do one more, and then cross your left knee over your right knee. Bring your hips down. Pick your right foot up. This time, wrap your right arm under your left arm. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, curl up. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale, curl up and hold. Reach your arms towards your feet. Rock up into a boat pose. Keep breathing. Keep your legs up, bring the feet together. Lower your feet down, and we'll take a butterfly pose. Badakanasana. Scoot your hips back a little bit. So you might enjoy just staying upright and working on bringing your knees closer to the mat. You can also fold forward with a straight spine or with a rounded spine. And just enjoy the stretch. All right, so come onto your hands and your knees. Spread your fingers out really, really wide. We'll take a couple rounds of cat and cow. So inhale and extend the spine. And as you exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale. One more time like that. Come back to that tabletop neutral spine and stretch your right leg back behind you. You can rock back and forth a few times here, maybe even pick up that left knee if you'd like to get a deeper stretch for the calf. And then bring the left knee down if it's up, and we're going to roll over onto our left side. So just bring that left foot back behind you and go slow so that as you're turning onto your side, you can really feel yourself lift up and out of your left shoulder and up and out of your left hip. Stretch your right arm up to the sky. Now really push into that right foot. And I want you to start to reach back behind you more. Pushing into that right foot is going to help to stabilize you more as you really reach back to help open up through the front of that body. And now we're going to add on a little twist here. So I'm going to reach through. I'm going to twist and reach my right arm underneath my left arm. Inhale, open. Reach back. Exhale, reach through. Inhale, open. Exhale, reach through. Now a little bit of balance here. Bring your right knee down. Go on and thread all the way through for thread the needle pose. Take a few breaths. Breathe into the space around your right shoulder blade. Now, take your left leg. You might bring your left hand down closer to your face. Stretch your left leg back behind you now. Push back through the heel. Now, pull your navel in towards your spine. Imagine you've got a block between your inner thighs, and I want you to hug it. And now lift that left leg up without the hips moving around. Keep breathing. Push into your left hand and slowly unravel into your bird dog balance. Now, as we move, we want to keep the right hip and the left shoulder stable. So we're going to inhale and reach, and you might even take more of a back bend here if that feels good. And as you exhale, I want you to bend your knee over to the left and bend your elbow over to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to the side. Inhale, center, and take it to the side. Come back to center. Now keep your leg up. Put your hand down. So this is where I want you to, once again, really imagine that block between your inner thighs. Tuck your back toes, Hug your inner thighs together. Pull your belly in. Lift your right knee. And then slowly go back into a three-legged down dog. Now open up your hip. Stack your left hip on top of your right hip. And if you like to move the, at the ankle or the knee or the hip, go for it. Now inhale and reach your left leg back behind you. And as you exhale, curl in, bring your knee towards your nose as you bring your shoulders over your wrists. Inhale, reach back and stretch. Exhale, curl in. Now hold here. Come up higher on those back toes. Softly step your left foot forward between your hands. Now come up to your fingertips and start to think about straightening your back and hugging your inner thighs and your outer hips in. Come on up, high lunge. So when you feel steady, come on up into your crescent lunge pose. Start to lift your chest upward towards the sky so you feel like you're moving into a back bend, because you are. Look up with your chest, not just with your eyes. And now deepen that back bend in the upper back by bending back more and bringing those elbows in towards the rib cage. Really push the chest upward. Inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, runner's lunge. So lean forward, but what I don't want to see, I see a lot of people do this where they collapse onto the thigh. So stay fairly upright so you've got a straight line running from the heel to the crown of the head, or a diagonal line. Now start shifting more weight over your left leg, and we're going to float that right leg up into a warrior three balance. Keep breathing. Hug your outer left hip in. Now step your right foot up to meet your left foot and sit down into chair pose. Weight back in the heels. Toes should be able to lift up off the mat. Chest lifting. On your inhale, stand up, reach up. And as you exhale, sit back down into your chair pose. This time, bend the elbows and draw the elbows in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. This time, reach up, lift your right knee up. Hold here. So make sure that you feel like you're lifting up out of your pelvis. Hug the outer left hip in. As softly as you can, step all the way back into another crescent lunge pose. This time on the other side. Lift your chest up to the sky. And then open up into warrior two. Check in with the left toes, the left knee. So the knee, if it collapses inward, press it out. Don't let it bend forward over the toes. You're going to feel like you're reaching back as much as you're reaching forward. Now flip your left palm up to the sky, reverse your warrior. And feel that nice stretch through the left side of your body. Feel the strength in your back leg. And then as you exhale, side angle pose. Bring your forearm to your thigh. Reach your right arm over your ear. And this is where I want you to think again about trying to draw one long line from the foot all the way out through the fingers and start to twist your chest, almost like you're leaning back, and look up underneath your arm. Now, strong legs, stable hips. Let's do a few of these two postures with the breath. So on your inhale, reverse warrior. And as you exhale, side angle pose. Inhale. Exhale. Come back to warrior two. Inhale. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. Pick up that back heel. Bring your right hand down inside of your left foot. Bring your left hand to your sacrum. You can put your right hand on a block here as well. Take an inhale to lengthen your spine and then begin to twist your spine. As you're twisting, think about bringing your left hip back and your right hip forward. Now you can certainly bring your left arm up here if you like. Breathe. Turn the head, neck in perfect alignment so you've got that tuck of the chin. And then exhale, release. Plant your hands and go back into a plank position. Stay in a plank, but bring your forearms down to the mat. Hold. Strong legs, belly lifted. Come down for Sphinx Pose. Bring your thighs and your hips down. Walk your elbows forward. And then literally try to pull yourself off your mat. So pull back with the arms, but really what you're trying to use are your back muscles. Bring the shoulders back and down. As we're bending backwards, we do, especially in our backward bends, want to think about pulling the navel in towards the spine to protect the low back. If you like to drop your head here, you can stretch the back of the neck, maybe ear to shoulder, little semicircle movement with the head. Lower all the way down and place your hands in line with your chest. Now hug your elbows in by your sides. So you want to stabilize shoulders, hips, spine as you push up to your hands and your knees. Okay. Second side. So now we're going to take the left leg and stretch it back, rock back and forth a few times. Bring your right knee back down and then turn over slowly onto that right side. Lift up out of the right shoulder, up out of the right hip. Push into your left foot and start to reach back behind you more. Take an inhale. As you exhale, reach your left arm through. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now this is where we'll bring the left knee down. Kind of a funky transition, but a good play with balance. So take a second here just to settle in, breathe into the space around your left shoulder blade. Try not to think about what's coming next. Just be in each moment. This time we'll take the right leg and stretch it back, reach through the heel. And before I lift it up, I want to imagine that block between the inner thighs, pull the navel in, and then float the leg up. And then unravel, and reach your left arm forward. Take an inhale and lift and lengthen. And as you exhale, bend your arm over to the left and your knee to the right. Inhale. Exhale. You should really feel that outer hip waking up with this inhale, exhale. Reach long, stay here. Put just your hand down. Prepare. So strong shoulders, belly to spine, tuck the left toes, lift the left knee, and slowly stretch back into that three-legged down dog. Lift up and out of your left hip as you stack your right hip on top of it. And take any movement here that you like. And then reach that right leg straight back. As you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. Inhale, stretch back. Knee to nose. Stay here. Come up higher on your back toes. Really push into your hands. Step your foot through. Come up to the fingertips. We want to make sure hugging the outer hips in, inner thighs in, stable. Come up into your high lunge. Breathe. Start to bend backwards more. Lift the chest. Look up. Really stretch up through the arms. And now bend back deeper. Elbows in. Push the chest upward towards the sky. Keep breathing. Reach the arms up. Come forward for your runner's lunge. Hold. Feel that long, strong line running from the heel to the crown of your head. Slowly shift your weight over your right leg. Float your left leg up for your warrior three. Notice if you're tensing up anywhere in your body, your toes, your jaw. Try to relax. Breathe. Step your left foot next to your right foot. Chair pose. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, sit down, elbows in. Inhale, stand up. And sit down. Now stand up, lift your left knee. Hold, really stretch up, lift off the hips. Step softly back into your crescent lunge. Take an inhale. Open up into your warrior two pose. Again, adjust the feet. Watch the right knee. Breathe slow and steady. Flip your right palm up. Reverse your warrior. As you exhale, side angle pose. Now twist your spine, turn your chest, look up underneath your arm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, side angle pose. Come back to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat. That back heel is going to lift up. Left hand goes to mat or block. Right hand goes to sacrum. Inhale, lengthen, and begin twisting the spine. Left hip forward, right hip back. Right shoulder back. What I see happen a lot of times is this. Where the arm goes up, the shoulder still is pointing downward. So open up the arm, open up the shoulder before you reach back if you're going there. All right, plant the hands. Plank pose. Let's take a vinyasa from the knees or from the toes and one straight line, lower slowly. Chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. So it can be an up dog. It can be a cobra. It can be a low cobra, a sphinx. And then as you're ready, lead with your belly, lift up and back to your downward facing dog pose. Breathe. Feel your torso rise and fall with your breath. Walk your hands to the back. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale and fold. Rise to stand. Arms overhead. Exhale, Tadasana, hands to heart. So standing at the back of your mat, bring your feet together. Start all the way back here. And we'll take the arms up overhead. As you exhale, bring your right elbow underneath your left. So we're coming into eagle pose, hands together. But before we go into our full expression, let's lift the elbows up, drop the chin, and intentionally kind of pull the shoulder blades away from the spine. Breathe into your upper back. Now bring your elbows down. Really bring them down. Use your back muscles to bring the shoulders down and sit down into your chair pose. So remember, knees behind the toes. Let's shift the weight into the left leg. Pick up your right knee and cross it over. So your toes can go down on the mat. They can hover. They can wrap. Hug your inner thighs together. Left hip forward, right hip back. Breathe. Find that steady, soft gaze. Now I'm going to unravel and lift my right leg out in front of me and stand up really tall. Step forward. As you step forward, put your hands on your hips. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your left knee. Reach back and try to grab onto your foot from inside. The inside of the foot. You can grab it from the outside, that's fine. So you can also use a strap here to grab your foot. And you can also just bend it and reach for it, but not actually hold on to it. So lift up, pull your navel in, reach your right arm up to the sky. Keep breathing. Now begin to kick. Kick your foot into your hand. Keep lifting your chest up as you go down into standing bow or dancer's pose. Keep kicking, keep breathing, keep reaching. And now slowly kick to come out. I'm going to lift my left knee up in front of me and then step forward on the foot. Bring your right foot to your ankle, to your calf, or to your inner thigh for your tree pose. Push your foot into your leg. Woo! Push your leg back into your foot like you've got that block between your inner thighs, and that should help to stabilize you. It also, for me, it gives me this feeling of lifting up. So remember, lift the pelvis up off of the legs. Stretch your arms up. Remember, you fall out, you come back in. Don't overthink it. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers together. Now, bend your elbows and draw your shoulders back. And then if you can keep your shoulders back and straighten your arms, go for it. But don't lock your elbows out. Okay, now keep your hips pointed straight ahead and step your right foot back for a warrior one stance. So I'm placing that back foot flat. Turn the foot out at about 45 degrees. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward again. Push to the outer edge of your back foot. It wants to lift up. Lift your chest up to the sky. Exhale for humble warrior. Start diving down. Diving down. Tuck the chin. Reach through the crown of your head towards the floor. Breathe into your chest and into your shoulders. And now just release your hands and place both hands inside of your left foot. Pick up your right foot and scoot it out. So I want you to increase the space widthwise and lengthwise between your feet. You might use a block here to come into lizard pose. Come down onto the forearms. You can rock a little bit here, rock back and forth. That back knee is lifted for now. We'll change that in a minute. Now go ahead and drop the right knee softly. Can come up to the hands. Take your right hand off the mat, off to the floor, and take your left hand and place it on your left inner thigh. Now, I'm slowly going to start to push my left thigh away from me. I'm going to lift the inner edge of the foot and kind of lean back a little bit here. Let that right hip drop lower. And then something I like to do to add on here is to bend the right knee, reach back and find the foot. Again, you can use a strap here, or you can also just hold that knee bend. Remember, one of the best ways to stretch a muscle is to engage its opposing muscle. So if I'm just using my hamstring to keep that knee bent, I am, at the same time, I am stretching, I'm lengthening through the quad, the front of the thigh. Now, release the foot gently. And I'm going to take my hips back to my right heel for Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Left foot is flexed and the knee is not locked, it's soft. I'm energetically pulling the heel back towards me. Take a few breaths. Come back to that lunge. Tuck the back toes. Turn to the right and take a little forward fold here, wide-legged forward fold. Just for a couple of breaths. Remember, in forward folds, we want to keep the quads active. It's going to help to protect the hamstring. so that we're not overstretching it. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Inhale, come up halfway. And then Skandasana, bend your left knee and go into a side lunge. So if your knee doesn't like to bend very deeply, you can stay up higher here. You can also drop the hips lower. Try to keep that right knee soft. I like adding a little side bend here. I see lots of cool expressions in this pose. Always do what works best for you. Now spin around and face forward, and let's take it back into downward facing dog pose. Walk your hands back to your feet. Halfway lift and fold. Rise to stand, strong legs, hands to heart. Take a breath. Bring your feet together. Take the arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, bring your left elbow underneath your right. Lift your elbows high first. Drop the chin. Breathe into the upper back. Now lift your chest up as you bring the elbows down, shoulders down, sit down. Hips go back. This time left knee crosses over right knee. Eagle, Badakanasana. Left hip back, right hip forward. Breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Unravel your arms and your legs. Lift up, stretch up. Step forward, put your hands on your hips. Stepping forward with the left foot. Let's bend the right knee. Reach around and grab onto your foot. If you can, from inside, outside is fine as well. I feel like grabbing from the inside really helps to get that shoulder back a little bit more. Take your left arm up to the sky and slowly begin kicking your foot down and then back and then up, and begin to bow forward as you hinge at that hip and stretch up through your chest. Really reach up. Breathe. Kick to come out. Lift the knee. Step forward on the right foot. Bring your left foot to your leg somewhere, just not against the knee. Because remember, we want to kind of squeeze the foot and the thigh together. Stand tall, lift the pelvis up. Take the arms up. Bring your hands behind your back and interlace the opposite way. So if you don't remember, it probably just feels different. Let the chest open up. Step back to your warrior one. Left hip forward, right hip back. Lift the chest up. Remember, really push into that back foot, the outer edge of the back foot. Start diving forward. Go slow. With control. Breathe into the chest, tuck the chin. Reach out through the crown of your head, back the neck is long. Energetically hug the heels together. That will help to stabilize you. Release both hands inside of your right foot. Pick up the left heel, scoot it back, 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 back. Lizard pose. Come on down onto the forearms. Might rock back and forth. Bring the back knee down. To the hands. Place your left hand out to the left. Put your right hand on your right thigh. And now begin to twist and lower the hip, the left hip. Bend the left knee, reach back, find the foot. Release the foot. Square the hips forward first. Sit back. Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Keep the right knee soft. Come back to lunge. Lift the left knee. Turn to the left. Wide-legged forward fold. Let the weight shift forward towards the toes. You might even practice lifting the heels. Try to keep that neck relaxed. Let's come up halfway. Skandasana. Bend into your right knee. Take that side lunge. Spin around. Downward facing dog pose. Now, just for fun, we're going to play with a little arm balance. So take your right foot and step it forward, just like we did to set up for lizard, okay? This is called flying lizard pose. So you can bring that left knee down, give yourself some space. Take this step by step, okay? You can start it, you don't have to finish it. So hips go back first. Take your right shoulder, dip it down, and bring that right arm around and place your hand on the outside of your right foot. So I want you to think chaturanga arms. So hug the elbows in, lift your back knee. So this right here is a great place to work, okay? Keeping the neck long, keeping the shoulders stable, hugging the elbows in. Now, if you want to go a little further with this, you can drag that back foot. As I bend forward, like I'm bringing my head down to the ground, I'm going to lift up my right heel, and eventually I might lift that left leg up. And maybe you just lift it for a second and put it back down, and that's fine. Okay? Nice job. Go back to down dog. Let's try that on the other side. Look forward. Step your left foot out. Go ahead and bring that back knee down. Back up your hips first. Try to get that left shoulder behind the leg as best as you can. I'm going to walk my foot back in now. Plant my hands. Hug the elbows in like chaturanga. Lift the back knee and just start to feel that transfer of weight, okay? So this is really challenging. This would be very challenging to just stay here and hold. Or you could start playing with kind of hopping that back foot in or dragging the toes in, and then lift the left heel, and eventually, maybe, this is my weak side, you can pick up that right leg and go back to downward facing dog and down to the knees and into a child's pose. And relax. Bring the palms together behind the neck and just let the heart melt. Breathe deeply. Come up to a seat. Sit off to one side. Swing the legs around. Scoot yourself down the mat. So very slowly, Come all the way down. Oh, grab your block before you come down. Come all the way down onto the back. And stretch your arms over your head. Supine Tadasana, mountain pose on your back. So situate yourself as if you were standing right now. So your toes should be pointed up at the sky. Don't let your rib cage pop up towards the sky. Try to pull the rib cage in towards the spine. Tuck the chin. And then on an exhale, pick up your right leg and hug your right knee into your chest. For wind removing pose, keep your left thigh down. Try to get your shoulders, the backs of your shoulders, to touch the mat. Chin is tucked slightly. Breathe against the compression. So breathe deeply. This is good for your digestive system. Breathe deeply, that belly into your thigh. Take your right leg up to the sky. Interlace your fingers around the back of the leg. And then point and flex the foot, circle, go in both directions. I find that most of us need more mobility work in the ankle joint. So half happy baby pose. Bend your right knee, grab onto the outside of the foot or the big toe if you want, and bring that knee towards the ground to the right. Place your left hand on your hip if you need to, just to remind you to keep that hip down, keep your left foot flexed and that leg strong like you're standing. If you like to straighten the leg here, go for it, but don't force it. I don't even often teach that because I see a lot of people overdoing it in the hamstring and the attachment. So if you're going to straighten the leg, do it by engaging your quadricep. And I'm not even warm enough right now in my body. I'm not going to do it. Breathe. Now bring your leg up to center. Place your right hand on your right hip with your thumb at the front of the hip and your fingers wrapping around towards the back. I want you to use that hand to push the hip down and to hold it down while you reach over with your left hand and start to bring the leg across the body. And as I'm doing this, I'm spinning the leg in slightly. So it's an internal rotation of the leg as I push my right hip down, not only into the mat, but towards the bottom of the mat. And this should help. You should feel this in your IT band along the outside of the hip, the thigh, and I feel it all the way down the calf and into the foot. And now you can keep your legs straight or you can bend the knee as you take it all the way across into a spinal twist. My knee doesn't always touch down here, so I'm going to rest my right knee on a block and reach out through the right arm, turn the head to the right, breathe deeply. Stay in your body. Roll over onto your back. Make sure the hips are level. Flex the feet, stretch out through the arms, pull the navel in towards the spine. Exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. Give it a squeeze, tuck the chin, press the shoulders back. Right leg is active. Now breathe your belly deeply. Expand the belly on that inhale against the leg as you squeeze the leg back. Take the left leg up to the sky. Interlace the fingers behind the leg. Circle the foot. Point and flex. We'll take that half happy baby pose. Grab onto the foot. When I'm doing this series on the back, I always have to remind myself, chin down, because the chin likes to lift up. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Maybe straighten that leg out mindfully. Bring your leg up to center. Put your left hand on your left hip. That's going to be your anchor, remember? And now reach over with my right hand. Grab onto the outside of the leg and give it a little internal rotation as you bring it across to the other side. Don't let that left hip come up. Not for now, at least. And take your spinal twist. Readjust your hips if you need to. Twist to the left. Release your twist. Grab your block and place it underneath your hips. And we'll finish up with an inversion. So supported bridge is an inversion. If you want to stay here and change the level of the block, find a spot on the back of your hip so it's comfortable and your low back feels supported. You can also extend the legs. And you can also take the legs up. So legs up the wall. If you know you want to be here for a little bit, you can go over to a wall and place your heels on it. You can certainly go into shoulder stand or plow pose if that's part of your practice and you know how to do it safely for your neck. And as your mind starts to wander, just notice and bring it back. When you're ready to move out slowly. Pull the block out, bring the hips down, and then bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to open. I want to do a little 3-part breathing exercise before we move into Shavasana. So place your left hand on your chest, place your right hand on your belly. And the way that we do this is we begin the inhale in the belly. So you'll pull the air into the belly first. As you continue inhaling, you'll pull it up towards the rib cage, and then finally all the way up into the chest and the shoulders. When we exhale, we'll exhale the same way. So we'll exhale first from the belly, then from the rib cage, and then from the chest. So let's give it a shot. So inhale, belly, ribs, chest, Exhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Keep going. As you are doing this exercise, something you can think about is watching the breath like it's a wave, just kind of rolling through your body. A wave of air rolling from the bottom to the top and then back out. Do one more round. And then let go of the exercise and move into Shavasana. Let go of everything. Let your body relax. And as your mind wanders, simply bring it back into the present.